Let me paint a picture. You're disciplined. You track your expenses. You say no to things other people say yes to. You save before you spend. You avoid debt. You pride yourself on being responsible with money. And yet, somehow, at the end of the month, you still feel tight. You still feel behind. You still feel like one unexpected expense could mess everything up. And deep down, there's this quiet thought you don't like admitting. If I'm saving so much, why do I still feel poor? If that thought just hit a little too close to home and you're thinking, yeah, that's literally me, then stay with me. Because today we're talking about why saving too much can actually make you poorer. My name is Mike, and I spend way too much time thinking about why, even when I try hard to save, I sometimes still feel like I don't have enough money. And if you're someone who saves and saves, but still can't seem to enjoy a strong financial situation, make sure you subscribe and like this video, because this is going to help you. Now, let's get into it. Here's the thing. We're told from day one that saving money is always good. More saving equals more security. More saving equals more discipline. More saving equals success. And on the surface, that sounds right. But this is what most people don't realize. Saving is a tool, not a strategy. And when you confuse the two, that's when problems start. Look, saving money feels good. It gives you control. It reduces anxiety. It feels like you're doing the right thing. According to a 2022 survey by the Federal Reserve, nearly 60% of adults say their top financial priority is saving more money, while less than 20% list investing for growth as their main focus. That gap matters, because psychologically, saving activates something very specific in your brain. It activates fear reduction, not wealth creation. And those two things are not the same. Let's talk math, real numbers. Imagine you save $1,000 per month. That's $12,000 per year. You put it into a regular savings account earning maybe 1% interest, if you're lucky. After 10 years, you'll have around $125,000. Sounds impressive, right? Now here's the part people ignore. If inflation averages 3% per year, the real value of that money drops significantly. That $125,000 will have the purchasing power of about $92,000. You didn't lose money on paper, but you lost buying power, quietly, slowly, painfully. This is where it gets really interesting. Now, let's say instead of saving everything, you saved enough for safety and invested the rest. Same $1,000 per month, but $500 saved, $500 invested. That invested portion goes into a diversified index fund averaging a conservative 7% annually. After 10 years, that investment alone grows to roughly $86,000. Combined with your savings, you're sitting around $146,000 with more purchasing power. Same income, same discipline, different outcome. So why don't most people do this? Here's the truth most financial advice skips. Saving money feels emotionally rewarding because it reduces uncertainty. Investing feels emotionally uncomfortable because it introduces uncertainty. And humans hate uncertainty. Behavioral economists have shown that loss aversion is one of the strongest forces in financial decision-making. We feel losses about twice as intensely as we feel gains. So your brain says, better safe than sorry. Don't risk it. At least I know it's there. Even when the math says you're slowly falling behind. Think of it like this. Saving money is like wearing a helmet. Necessary, smart, protective. But wearing a helmet doesn't get you anywhere. Growth comes from movement. And here's the mistake. A lot of people put on the helmet and never get on the bike. Now, maybe you're thinking, Mike, saving gives me peace of mind. I don't want to stress about money. I get that. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Oversaving doesn't remove stress, it just delays it. Because one day you wake up and realize, I played it safe, but I didn't move forward. And that regret hits harder than market volatility ever could. Here's something nobody talks about. A lot of people build their identity around being good with money. They say things like, I'm not reckless, I don't gamble, I don't chase quick money. And that's fine, but sometimes that identity becomes a cage because growth always requires measured risk. And when you avoid all risk in the name of responsibility, you're not being responsible, you're being stagnant. This is what the majority of people don't realize. Being too careful for too long is its own form of financial risk. Let's be clear. Saving is absolutely critical when you don't have an emergency fund, you're carrying high-interest debt, your income is unstable. In those cases, saving is not optional, it's survival. But once you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, continuing to funnel every extra dollar into savings starts doing more harm than good. That's when saving turns from protection into procrastination. Here's the transition point nobody tells you about. There's a moment when your question needs to change from how do I avoid financial pain to how do I create financial momentum? That shift changes everything. I've seen this play out countless times. 2 people, same income, same age. One saves aggressively but avoids investing. The other saves enough, then builds assets. 10 years later, one feels safe but stuck, the other feels unstoppable but intentional. The difference wasn't intelligence, it was mindset. Let's make this practical. Step 1. Define enough. Decide how much safety you actually need, not how much fear tells you to hoard. Step 2. Separate safety from growth. Savings protect, investments build. Don't ask one to do the other's job. Step 3. Automate the hard part. Automatically invest so emotion doesn't sabotage consistency. Step 4. Redefine what smart means. Smart isn't avoiding risk. Smart is understanding it. Here's the truth that hits hardest. Most people don't stay poor because they don't save. They stay poor because they stop at saving. They never let their money do more than sit quietly. And inflation doesn't care how disciplined you were. Look, you don't need to become reckless. You don't need to chase hype. But you do need to stop mistaking comfort for progress. Because saving too much doesn't make you safe forever. It just makes you stuck. If this video challenged the way you think about money, that's a good thing. Subscribe if you want to build wealth intentionally. Like the video if this helped you see saving differently. And remember, money that never moves, never grows. I'll see you in the next one.